Why do we choose the partners we choose? Why do we choose the mate life partners we chose? Whatever the setup of your relationship, do you know why you chose the partner you chose? Well, welcome to The Other Way with me, Lebohang, Silimela. In the quest of trying to live and understand or to coexist with people, I started asking myself that question. Like, why do people choose the partners that they chose? Love, just like faith in God, right? You would assume that it's beyond human reasoning, that it cannot be measured in scientific terms. Well, we have people that can actually do that. Measure the behavior of people, understand why we behave in certain ways, or why do we display certain characteristics. And that's what I'm about to share with you. Like, why do we end up with the people that we end up with in relationships? Well, I came across a study by an American sociology professor F. Winch, where in his complementary theory of love, he explains in detail and gives evidence of why we end up with partners that we end up with. And I found that to be quite interesting. So I'm going to share some of the knowledge that I have from a personal experience and try to say that, intertwine that with his own theories as well. And from that, you can deduce your own truth, really, and try to understand why you end up with the partners that you end up with. According to this study, which was conducted amongst about 25 couples, the primary purpose of falling in love or of being in love is about self-serving needs. So meaning we are actually selfish. We fall in love because we're selfish. I'm joking, but in truth is the primary purpose of falling in love with other people is that it serves the person who is a lover more than it is the beloved. What it means, it simply means that if I fall in love with you, the reason why I'm offering you those emotions is to serve my needs. Underline that. To serve my needs more than to serve your needs. That's the primary reason. Do you agree with that? Well, let me just expand more on this self-serving need. Basically, what it means is that the people that we fall in love with, most of the time, they complement our personalities. And when they do that, as a lover towards the beloved, right? You get to live out your frustrations. That person serves as a soundboard in your life. So you get to live out your frustrations and to express vicariously all your deepest frustrations. Whatever you are harboring inside, you are able to say without reservation to that person. So that's what they mean by saying a self-serving need or self-serving love. That's what it means. I won't say that it's falling in love with somebody who's going to tolerate your nonsense. No. It simply means that the personality, they complement each other. You hear me out, and I also have the very same patience to hear you out. Another reason why we fall in love with the people we fall in love with is beyond complementary personalities. The beneficial aspect of it does involve personalities in a sense that if you grew up as a child who was timid, who's fragile, frail, and you're soft-spoken, You end up with a person who has a contrast personality to you, meaning that the person might appear to be aggressive or too strong. You know, when they say opposites attract, that's basically what we fall in love with. You fall in love with the person who does not have similar personality traits. So if you are a sweet girl, you might find yourself with a bad boy. And that's when people don't understand, why do sweet girls end up with bad boys? It's because of that. It fulfills your needs in a way that you want protection, be it physical or emotional. So you end up with that person, hence the self-serving need. Based on what I've just shared right now, you know, the bad boy plus the sweet girl, or the sweet girl plus the bad boy, or vice versa, really. This is what Professor Winch says it's essential in love. Like he dovetails this psychology to be that necessary aspect of falling in love. You know, the where one reaps the benefit of being in the company of. And he says that it's beyond sexual desires and beauty. So it also makes sense when most men don't understand why beautiful women would fall in love with questionable characters, and because of the financial power and the financial muscles. It is exactly that, the self-serving need. It is not foreign, apparently. So there is more to love than just the fuzzy emotions that we feel. So, what this self serving theory explains for us even more is why some people end up falling in love with people they vowed they would never fall in love with. You know, when you're this particular person and you have certain expectations that I'm going to fall for this particular person with this particular attributes, and you end up with somebody who is completely out of your ideal expectations, really. So it explains that. And you get to hear people say, you're a couple, you're going into an event or whatever social do. You hear people saying, oh, she doesn't suit him, oh, he doesn't suit him. It is exactly that. We end up being in relationships with people that are considered not to be suitable for us because of self-serving need. Do you still agree with this theory, or do you think it's just hogwash? Let me know. What I've also observed is that, with this need theory, the benefiting or self-serving theory, is that we tend to choose our partners based on religious affiliates. The level of education, is it equal to that of ours? Social class, ethnic backgrounds. So just because you find somebody is a Hindi, they might not go for a Christian. You find somebody who is a Christian, they might not go for a Muslim believer. So you ask yourself that, is there true love, really? The sad part about self-serving love, or the need love theory, or what I've observed or what I'm observing, is that once a person's prerequisite or requirements are no longer met, they fall out of love. Here you are, you met a Lebohang, she was ambitious, she was a go-getter, and now you want to turn her into a housewife. Just because maybe she wants to preserve a family life, she decides to become that housewife. It might happen that to you as a partner, you fall out of love with Lebohang because she's no longer projecting that ambitious go-getter that you met from inception. She's no longer meeting your requirements, the self-serving needs. So that is the danger about it, about falling in love with somebody else's personality. So what I can deduce from this self-serving theory of Professor Winch, what he's trying to teach us really is that once you fall in love with your hardcore Mr. Tough Guy. Don't try to change him and make him a Mr. Softy if he's not. If you have met your rubberneck, stick to that. Stick with that personality trait, because that's what you fell in love with from the get-go. Because as soon as you try to change him and try to make him a stockbroker or your 9 to 5 kind of guy, you will definitely lose connection. And that's when we start saying to each other, oh, we have lost connection. I think we are no longer connecting. It's because you're trying to change the other person to be what they are not. So if you want to preserve your relationship, if you've met your girl being blonde, don't try now and tell her that she must be a brunette if she's not that. Or if you find that she's an African queen, she wears dukes like me, and now you want her to wear weaves. Don't do that, because you're going to lose connections. Now, why was it important for me to do this episode really and give insight or give spotlight to Professor Winch's need theory? Is that unlike some of you who are still young, you get to have access to information via the internet, and there's so much really to absorb. So I'm hoping that with this little episode, you'll also get some insight to avoid making impulsive decisions, especially when you're very young. What the need theory should teach you then is to give you some form of understanding and to get wisdom of how to deal with people and to understand yourself as well. Why you fall in love with certain people. What is it that you look for? And is it wrong to fall in love because it benefits you? It fulfills you? That's what this episode is all about. To open that and to give you another perspective and show you the other way of life. That it's not necessarily that it's based on emotions, but there are certain elements that govern how we love. So what are the implications of this need theory? It gives us insight on understanding what we want when we fall in love. It also gives us a foresight of what other people look for when they fall in love. And to top it all, how to integrate or how to fuse everything, my needs, his needs, into a partnership or into a relationship that is self-serving for both of us equally. So that's what it's teaching us, in essence, to say that I know I have my own personal needs and personal preferences. Equally, I must be mindful that my partner, my husband, my boyfriend, my wife, my girlfriend, whatever setup you have in your relationship, also has the self-serving desires. And the onus lies with you, the lover, as well, to understand that the beloved has needs. And those needs also need to be respected and valued. And in that case, you will have a long-term or a lasting relationship. That is the implication, or that is the essence of this lesson, the need theory. It is apparent then that success in any relationship is not about finding the right person, but it is about you becoming the right person. Don't just become a lover who is selfish, also become a beloved who is considerate, and see how long your relationship will last. I hope you've really enjoyed this session, and I will try to overcome my nerves and shyness and do this quite often. Thank you so much to all of you who continuously support and have subscribed. Don't forget to switch on your notifications. Until Sunday, stay blessed.